shoot, I said that you claim it. It's that Xbox, spin the block, his legs slide. Fast talker, no wriggling, moonwalking, selling moon rock just to make dividends. You in traffic with family? That flash making a portrait. Gun kick back, now grannies from porches. David on the sea, you know that it's scorching. What's the man with king? No response to the saying, advancing the line, advancing the payment. You from the game and shoot, I said that you claim it.
You already know the time, told my boys to hold the line. We gon' shoot it out in seconds, leave you posted like a vine. Bow your head down to the king, leave your roses at the shrine. We stay ready for the war, just need the king to drop the sign. Say what you running from, what you running from? I'm with my team, we bleed green, that's what you wanted, huh? Say what you running from, what you running from? I'm with my team, we bleed green, that's what you wanted, huh? This what you wanted. This what you wanted, huh?
Peace and blessings and welcome back to Xbox Frontline News with your boy, the King. And we're right back at it like we never left. It is Tuesday, Taco Tuesday. And it's facts too. And it is Taco Tuesday because the King has ordered tacos. And the tacos will be showing up soon. So when they say Taco Tuesday, it is really Taco Tuesday. Yes, Eric Von Eric was good. George Parcells, happy that you are here. New Soul, man, number 9. Sinzu, 86. Joe, what is that? Joe Dunmore. Oh, John Dunmore. That's what's going on. Manny GL. Jig 33, Live Supremacy, and that is Stuttgart's, my man. We are here with, or did I say your name wrong? Did I say your name wrong? Ken Jimar, what's good? Jays Wade, Lamont Davis. Did I say your name wrong? Did I say your name wrong? Shinzo? Did I say it wrong? I brought Resident Evil 9, Requiem, and Pragmata Physical. That's what's up. I brought those digital. And Resident Evil 9, I brought that digital because it was on my PlayStation. I played it on a Pro. I got suckered in. I listened to Digital Foundry. I got suckered in. But Pragmata, that was on Xbox. That's my game of the year so far. Oh, Jinzo. Oh, just Jinzo. Okay, Jinzo. My bad, yo. See? And look at me. Look at me reading the chat. Jinzo. And now I said now, so I got you. So next time I got you. The Xbox Store sales are better than Steam sales this year. The discounts are insane. Yo, I saw some discounts inside that store. This is how I know fraudery is real. Like, we got to start calling people out for their known hypocrisy. You know what I noticed? Because I was talking to Cog today. And Iron Lords had a thing today where it was for the mayor's office of New York with gamers, and it's an initiative going on to get more gamers from grades K, from kindergarten to college, K to C, and pushing that initiative in New York City, where I noticed that the majority of opportunities is West Coast bound. So New York City pushing in any direction with gaming is a bonus. It's a plus. If we become the East Coast hub of gaming, then that opens up larger opportunities for publishers, because you start getting tax breaks for these corporations that can open up studios on the East Coast that can give job opportunities for up and coming kids, students, business people, executives. We need to incentivize the language surrounding gaming, right? We do. So Iron Lords had that today, and shout out to Lord Cognito for heading up that expedition and making it out there. I had some life-changing stuff happening today. It sucks when your kids get old enough to want to hang out without you. It really sucks. So I'm going through that little life change there, where my youngest now is old enough to be cool without me, and that sucks. That's a pretty uh, hurtful thing. As I don't know, because you start to see your last ones. Like when you got a bunch of them and they start to do that, you're like, yeah, got one more, and then they, damn it, this guy's 15. Sheesh. Damn, 15 snuck up on me too quick. But I guess maybe we get a chance to play video games when he decides to hang out again. He said I'd be cooling again in about 10 years. It sucks. I just you don't really prepare for that. Like, I don't know. It's just it sucks. It really does. Like, I don't know. This is really the first time of and it's not like the emptiness phase because they're still there, right? But it's like a mirage of them, right? It's weird. It's a weird place to be as an adult, and especially now where it's a lot of distractions out in the world, and you just got to be cognizant of those distractions and try not to be overbearing. So I'm in a weird place understanding that, especially with boys. Girls is a little bit different. Boys is a lot harder. All right. Yeah. What does he say? Oh, he says 60 views. You'll be cool again. I only buy. What is this? I hope my name didn't get to waste your time. No, man, hell no. Your name don't waste my time. Listen, you're here. Nothing that y'all do wastes my time. This is conversational pieces. We start to talk about everything. And I've noticed that I gotta tell my wife to bring me something to drink. Because talking for an hour, you definitely get parched. Hold on one second. I was talking to Cog for hours, and I downloaded Halo Master Chief Collection on purpose. I'm playing Halo Campaign Evolved. I can say that part. And we're about to get our review and stuff together. And I downloaded Halo Master Chief Collection again in order to see the differences. And this is going to be a very interesting review that we're going to do because I think we're going to do it tonight. So it's going to be a very interesting review of the game. And I'm conflicted with the game to begin with. So that is going to be immediately apparent based upon the platforms that it's available for. And, people can, feel any way they choose when it comes to that. I personally just don't really approve of that situation. I don't care how you slice it. That's just a me thing. And, when you say, the Trojan horse theory, and it's funny because I just saw Odyssey this weekend, and you say the Trojan horse theory, when you really start to look at what that represented and what Odysseus did with that whole aspects of the Trojan horse to get it through the gate, it was crazy in the sense of what it actually truly meant. Because my ignorance to that point, and I was truly ignorant about what that truly meant up until this weekend, because I got to give Nolan his props in delivering a movie that is digestible for current times and is his depiction of what the Iliad spoke to. The language of it changes now. Now I look at Trojan horse theory completely different. And I can understand why people are absolutely appalled by that language. So I highly suggest, and I can't wait to do, I would like to do like a roundtable review on that movie, talking about the talking points, because I was watching the Joe Budden show today, and he was talking about, well, not today, but he put up his I guess it's slight review of it, and Christopher Nolan's take on it and how he has never missed as a director. and his willingness to challenge himself to shoot this movie all in IMAX that I got to go see in IMAX now. I mean, I saw it in 70 millimeter. Perfect. It was a perfect film. I got to go see it in IMAX now to actually digest the film in its totality. But physical gaming is where it is, and Xbox is trying to bridge that gap from physical to digital. And I don't know how many of you guys purchased this thing, man. Like I don't really know, because I used to be like this digital hater for a second. Physical was the wave. And then I started collecting statues. Right now, before, I would always buy the big option that came with what I thought was a statue, right? The PVC, the plastic vinyl collectible, that after a period of time, it melts, it leans, it like degrades over a period of time. It's not well crafted. It's, it's not really good. And when I found out how much they make it for and how much they sell it for, it turned me off. Thank you so much, my love. It turned me off, right? Then I started realizing how I was being bamboozled. That kind of soured me on buying the jumbo pack. Now, I still have a couple of those, like the Disney Infinity. I love that. PlayStation is the only one that had that one with the Frost Giant, and all you was able to place the guys on it, and it plugged in and it lights up and it looks really dope. And I really like the Disney Infinity stuff because I was able to collect all of them, like all your heroes, and you pluck them in and you put them down and you play them inside the game, which as a kid, that should be the ultimate, like, physical, right? And I thought that they had a gold mine. Nintendo, ultimate physical with the amiibos, and you're able to scan them and get stuff out of it. So that level of interaction, I thought we was out of here with that. I thought seriously that was going to be the trend. I thought toy plus gaming equals absolute fun, right? And it kind of kept us physical completely. And then something changed. Something changed. Like Disney Infinity stopped. I mean, I have all of them. Like I had the Star Wars ones when they did Star Wars. That was dope. And I'm just like, why would you stop? Why would you stop? Like, you're not going to stop making movies. You're not going to stop making toys. I mean, cartoons. You have literally a whole treasure trove to jump into. Nintendo, thankfully, hasn't stopped amiibos. So I continue to collect that. And I always felt that, hold on, I have the Uber Eats that's coming. He's heading my way. Okay. Let me mute this. I'll just keep it on the screen. Let her know when to go to the door. But, and I was waiting for Xbox's turn. Like I was literally waiting for Xbox, Legendary Yobi Blessings. I was really waiting. I'm like, okay, Xbox, they're gonna get in on it. They're gonna do their own thing. Like, and I get a chance to get Master Chief with a whole bunch of grunts, and like the possibilities was endless. You could have got Ubisoft in on it with the Assassin's Creed characters, and it just never materialized in where we should have been. Like, gaming should have took that super serious, and just we didn't. And Nintendo, thank you for continuing. I still support. But the physical game chart has came out, and we're looking at the physical sales based upon the metrics that are being shown. As gamers, are we frauds? Right? Can we look at Sony, and if they're losing money making production and putting all this stuff in warehouse, are you just funding like Walmart's back end, Target's back end? When trends show you that physical isn't there. Now, somebody did have a problem with me using articles, right? And I'm like, why would you have a problem with me using articles? You know, a lot of guys get up here and be like, with this trust me, bro crap, and I have inside sources and all this other stuff. I talk to people inside the industry. I do not use any of that information at all. Based upon the fact that, one, some of the stuff that I'm told in confidence, and two, I'm just not, I don't want to be categorized as no leaker. I made the mistake one time of talking about something. I was talking with somebody in the background, and it just didn't work out right. And I soured on that ever since. And again, I don't want people to send me information and spoil my fun. Sometimes too much information is absolutely terrible, especially information that is meant to be held to a certain point. And then I become a holder of your secrets, and I'm not that dude. And this is brought to you by Pure Xbox and my guy Frazier Gilbert, who I am super happy that he's even writing, because he's an official KNN unofficial journalist for the channel. The physical sales graph for the past 20 years highlights just how much gaming has changed. And it's a pretty depressing pattern. And in all seriousness, like when you look at this, you start to say to yourself, what happened? Like, as much as the console warriors or the physical warriors or the brand champions that are on Twitter would have you beg to differ, you would think that this chart wasn't as abysmal as it is. But I've noticed that I'm part of the problem. The moment that the physical aspect, the illusion of it was broken for me, was the moment that I decided that the laziness of digital superseded my need or want to have something tangible in my hand, especially after doing deep dives on everything not being on the disc when it ships, the fact that DLC added to a game removes true ownership of the game. Because I don't know about you, but have you ever gotten rid of a game but still purchased the DLC and it's still lingering on your hard drive, and you're like, but I got rid of the game, so now I got to buy the game digitally to have the complete game? It is nerve-wracking. It's nerve-wracking in the sense that you're having broken pieces of a game and not a game in its totality. I think when they stop shipping games in their totality is where we started to see the absolute decline of games. Now, there are other things that help this decline reach an even greater low in 2026 is live service games. Those games erode your time. You're not focused. Hold on, let me double check, because I got to tell her that he is showing up in 5 seconds, 2 minutes away. Let me just call and tell her to be at the door. 1 sec. Yeah, I decided it was a rainy day. I decided you don't need to cook. Why would you have to cook on this dreary day? And plus, I was in my feels because I'm not cool no more. So looking at this trend and looking at everything that is happening and the way we consume games now, I think it's a bigger problem here. The bigger problem here is I think here there were more children playing, right? In this area before the decline. I think we can probably go back here to 2014 and 2015 and start to see the rise of the live service games. And then, subscription models probably really took a big boom in 2018 to 2020, where the rise of that started happening. And the moment that you start saying to yourself, well, why would I buy the game physical where I'm just going to get the season pass and the DLC, and then I just buy it digital and then I just have everything all in one shot? I think that starts to precipitate the decline. When you start adding layers to something after purchase, then you start looking at the level of convenience with that whole idea, because then you have to go get up and get the disc, and then once you get the disc in, then you got to make sure that the DLC is updated and loaded, and then maybe it's an update load to the game and all these other aspects to it. So it starts to become more of an inconvenience. The more advanced we became, the less importance that we placed on physical. And we're seeing that people are actively fighting Sony's idea of canceling physical. Is it a smart idea for their company? Maybe. I don't know what dilemmas they're facing to make them come up with this idea that that's important and smart. I do see that digital has overtaken physical in importance. From a business standpoint, from a company standpoint, that makes logical sense for them. As a consumer, it doesn't make logical sense for us, but we're not helping make that a barrier. And I think Microsoft is working on an absolute plan to change that. We do have some stuff that is happening that they're working around in the background. And I've tend to tell you that when I hear a rumor with her, I believe it more to be true. Because for some reason, I don't know what happened, but before we would get absolute false rumors, and I guess it was kind of bait and switch type of thing that people would just throw stuff out there on purpose just to like mislead us. And then that goes into the whole me never wanting to be a leaker type of thing, because it's not valid for me. It doesn't work for me. But with her, it seemed like every rumor that we heard became substantiated, and she got in front of it and made it a thing. This disc to digital thing, how they pull it off is going to be really the magic, right? Because we laughed at them when they talked about cloud. We said the power of the cloud isn't real. And that the fact that the power of the cloud isn't real, they dismissed it. And they based it upon one game, which was Crackdown 3, where the story surrounding Crackdown 3 and the demo that we saw was more notorious than the actual truth. So, based upon a demo, a finished product, a presentation, we dismiss cloud, knowing that cloud infrastructure is absolutely necessary right now, especially with the metric tons of data that is being pushed through to the consumers. And a lot of times people say that Xbox chooses the wrong battles. I don't think so. I think they really have the right battles. Their vision is just so far reaching as a company that we don't actually get a chance to see that vision. Like, remember when they were saying, I don't know why they don't make a VR, because PlayStation made a VR. They should make a VR. Oh, let's get it. Oh, that's my dude. Blessings, Akizi Boo Boo. AKW, that's my guy.
Akizababu donated £2 through Super Chat. What's up, King Hope? All at well?
I'm not cool, but I'll be cool again at some point in time. I guess. I don't know. I guess whenever, you know, I don't know, you want to play basketball or something. I'm in my feels right now. But PlayStation did their VR. Xbox needed to do a VR, right? They was like, yo, you need to do that. But when you start to look at the data, it was very niche. It was cost prohibitive. And then you had to take studios that probably they didn't have and leverage those games to talk to an audience that is probably not there. PlayStation learned those growing pains. I learned it with PlayStation VR 1. I learned it with the PlayStation VR 2, which I actually have, and I can't get rid of it. It is what it is. It is a device that I have that I utilize whenever is, you know, it fits its purpose. But then Xbox goes and does something that I felt that was genius. You see, when Oculus decided to do their VR, Meta came, Facebook, that's when it was kind of hot. Facebook came in and purchased them. And they were expecting that the VR boom would go straight through the roof, the same way I was expecting the toys to gaming would be I swear to God, I thought we was out of here with it. I really thought all types of stuff, man. I thought all things was possible. But they decided to partner with, and after the dust settled, with who VR actually became. I think MetaQuest is the face of VR now. I think it's the de facto of VR when you go to pick. Not saying that it's the best VR. I believe that it hits the sweet spot between performance, price, and delivery. And the fact that they have a subscription service actually changes how VR is looked at. Because, see, there's a difference where sometimes a lot of the VR games is shovelware, right? And we're looking at it and we're saying, damn, I don't want to spend on that. Now, the reason why this is probably very prevalent here, because this is absolutely no physical that is available for VR. There's no place for you to place a physical game. There's no physical. This is completely a digital platform, which at the end of the day, we realize you own nothing. And this could be one of the reasons why it is absolutely staying where it is and not growing as a base, as we watch Meta shrink and try to figure out how to make the business model grow. Well, we're seeing here by Xbox Wire and Team Xbox. Xbox and Meta, more ways to enjoy your Xbox Game Pass. Now, we heard about this before, but now it's been implemented, and I do have a MetaQuest 3, and I actually use it from time to time, a lot less than I used to, and that's due to time constraints. For some reason, I'm time piss poor. For years, Xbox and Meta have teamed up to make it easier to play games that you love across devices. Today, we're building on that with a new benefit to connect it, the Meta Horizon Plus subscription, giving you way more ways to discover Game Pass alongside the existing Xbox Game Pass and MetaQuest devices. That, when I got a chance to play it, now the main gripe for people that are true VR heads is the fact that it's not a true VR game. It's not a game made from the ground up to take advantage of all the capabilities of what VR is. Game Pass on the MetaQuest is the equivalent of having a large screen television strapped to your face. And there are advantages and disadvantages to that whole options, like with everything in life. But Today, starting today, eligible Meta Horizon Plus subscribers now get a starter edition of Xbox Game Pass where available, offering access to 50 plus games, 10 hours of cloud gaming each month, rewards playing. The starter edition Game Pass library is packed with titles ranging from AAA titles to indie favorites, including post-apocalyptic open world RPGs Fallout 4 and Fallout 76 from Bethesda, Ghost Town games, chaotic cooking game Overcooked 2, Obsidian, Grounded, and zombie multiplayer DayZ, and Deep Rock Galactic, and SnowRunner. Those to name a few. Now, this is the caveat. This is the lock-in. It costs you for a year $59.99 or $7.99 per month. Can't beat that. Like, if you happen to have the Meta Quest, like myself, and I already have this, it's already like godfathered in, but sometimes your television is occupied. Let's say you're inside the house and you happen to have your VR, and I go to concerts in that thing. Like, I would go and watch a concert in that. And I know you're like, but don't you want to be at the concert? For some weird way, it actually makes it feel like you're there. So this is a plus. I always champion Game Pass being marketed in different ways. And this is one of those ways I felt that Game Pass isn't marketed properly. I sat there today and I looked at Game Pass, all the games inside Game Pass, and I went down, I scrolled down, and I said, damn, they have complete collections of Final Fantasy. They have complete collections of a ton of games. And that's not telling the masses that you have a complete collection if you subscribe to Game Pass. But then you have what we're having now with this physical pushback. But the trends tell you otherwise. The trends tell you that digital is rising, subscription services are in vogue, but there's an outcry for physical that is not matching the activity. And that's some of the stuff that I'm struggling with. Because like I can understand it when guys say, I want my games physical, king, and I don't like these corporations telling me what to do. I'm with you. Like, I understand that. But if one company is trying to figure out how to transfer your physical license to a digital license and do it in a way that you retain ownership of it, I think it's going to upset a lot of people, a lot of companies, where they want you to own nothing. But then it's going to be a happy medium between the consumer and Xbox. Now, from what I hear is imminent. The reporting of it should be very soon. But also leveraging the cloud to allow those licensees to be held and distribute at such a fast pace is a genius move. Because you have to start using your advantages to gain advantage. And especially if you see an outcry, and I don't care how small the number is, because we're looking at the number of how many people compared to how many people complain versus how many people purchase digital, right? And I always use Grand Theft Auto 6 as my marker. If 15 million people pre-ordered it digitally and only not even 500,000 people fight with petitions for physical, that's a huge deficit that can't be ignored. And corporations look at that and say, well, they truly don't have any support. They're just loud. Gray Fox was good. AI and digital are a trend in gaming studios company. We see in 2028 how effective the customer marketing. I don't like the way it is. Big companies are greedy. They have always been greedy. Like, you don't realize a large majority of the reasons why corporations can't move in the manner that they move in is because we stuck together, right? That absolutely falls apart when everybody is championing physical. And you got to look at it, because it was a game that broke that digital petition stuff. It was a game. It was 2 games actually that came out digital, and the Black Ops 1 and 2. When that happens, and the price point was severely disgusting, but they made sure, and Xbox did it on purpose, because that came out of the blue. The game is released, but if you have a PlayStation Plus subscription, here's the nefarious part. If you have a PlayStation Plus subscription, the game is $20. If you don't, it's $40. And then the DLC is like $30. But if you have a PlayStation Plus subscription, it's $20. So all those people that said they were canceling their PlayStation Plus subscription, if that's your game and you see the disparity in price, which is damn near double, unless you have a PlayStation Plus subscription, you fold it like a deck of cards. And the majority of people fold it like a deck of cards, and that is a straight signal to the corporations and saying, we was right. We was right. They weren't going to hold the line. They weren't going to double. They went for it. Quick and easy. Not more than a week. So, is the fight truly physical versus digital? Or is it truly ownership versus non-ownership? And if it's ownership versus non-ownership, then we got to start looking at the options that will be presented. And I believe once Xbox crosses that Rubicon, there's going to be other companies that are going to see it and say we can either innovate on it and change how they did it, and we could do it a little bit different, or they'll be on board with it and probably contract Xbox to utilize the cloud system in order to maintain this licensee from physical to digital stuff. Because there has to be a trail in which that license is connected and how they do it and where it's stored and all that other stuff. Like devices like the Steam machine, this won't be available for, because the language of physical to digital doesn't talk to that device. It is currently the devices we own now, not looking at whatever Project Helix will have in the future. And I already told you that it will be an absolute L that Project Helix will not have a disk drive. So I believe that they will have a disk drive just to save face, right? Because again, it's a talking point. It's a point in which you can just point to and say, we didn't leave you behind. You're able to still put that disk inside. You're still able, but you're going to have to transfer. Like, let's say this. Let's say Project Helix comes out, but it does have a disk drive, right? It does have a disk drive. Are you down with this? but it's mandatory that when you put your disc in, you have to convert it to a digital license. But you retain ownership to that digital license based upon you placing the physical game in. But that's the caveat for you having a disk drive. What would that do? What is that something that is passable? Let me look at the chat. Sony can struggle to push 10 million copies of every exclusive after 2028 for all I care, excluding Marvel, which is casual game anyway. Canceling PlayStation Plus and no longer buying digital and using that money to buy discs speaks more to Sony than not buying anything. Facts. That's true. I would be 100% cool with that. Cool. They should make it an option if you want to convert or not. You know why the physical thing is at its end? And the hard truth, it's because the storage medium no longer can support the games. We have reached the tipping point in which games are shipping with greater amount of gigs than the storage medium can support. And I know you're going to say, well, King, then they have to find different ways of compression. Sony found different ways of compression. Xbox found different ways of compression. And they still decided to use probably like 30 gigs on the disc, 8 gigs on the disc, whatever the minimum amount to get that going, and then use the back end for downloading the rest to the console. True, corporate greed plays a large part in it. Storage medium itself is restricted in the versatility that it allows for games to be. So we're looking at the technology, because what would be the next technology, right? Shipping little SSDs? That's not cost effective, right? That, you know, the joint that the detachable external card that comes in the back of the Xbox, that's not cost effective, especially right now with storage being the price that it is. What would be the option? And I'm pretty sure that these guys were in the lab trying to figure out what could be the next storage medium in which we can ship games on, if it would have some type of physical component to it. And I'm pretty sure they all came back with the same thing, that it wasn't cost effective. You mean CDs were like what, 8 cents to make? Something stupid. DVDs went up in price. It was probably like 50 cents to 80 cents to make. Blu-rays is like $1, $2. And we're looking at the price to performance. It was there for that stuff, you know, because cartridges got to a point where the games was too big to ship on cartridge. Remember, the Nintendo 64 lost out to the PlayStation based upon the storage medium. So the storage medium superseded what was going on. The technology was necessary to move forward. We got to a point now where it is more advantageous for the companies to have SSD that can deliver and offload the game to you as quickly as possible with damn near no loading times and larger capacity than shipping discs, because of the limited qualities of the disc. And then you have the degradation with the disc over a period of time, but that won't happen in our lifetime. But it's just the whole aspect of it, right? I think there was a good summit on how to move forward and what is going to be. And I think they kept coming back to the fact that digital was the option that's best suited companies and consumers. It was a happy medium. But the loss of ownership became the larger problem, because here you have the consumer that actually needs ownership, and here you have the corporations that don't want you to have ownership. And we're fighting the corporation. The corporation itself is going to be absolutely greedy, because you got to look at the business model. The business model itself is a dying business model, especially when it comes to games that are dead end games. We're starting to see the overpopulation of games that are made to monetize your wallet, and the depopulation of games that are one and done. We're starting to see the preference of games that actually have battle passes and all this other stuff that can keep you continuing to it's like a slot machine. You're going to keep feeding it. You're going to keep feeding. You're going to sit there. You're going to keep feeding it. And the only thing that's winning is the slot machine, because you're never going to win. You're never going to beat them at their game. But we had ownership, and we felt that we were in some form of control. That control has to come back, and it has to swing back our way. And if Xbox is able to do what I think they're going to do, it's going to work in a way that helps us as consumers. Now, we have a bigger problem when it comes to Xbox messaging. Nobody believes because of what happened in the past. And slowly but surely, they have to commit to a stance. And in yesterday's talk, we talked about how there were conflicting conversations at an interview with Matt Booty being present and Matthew Ball being present. And Matthew Ball stated emphatically that Xbox exclusives are permanent, and they're doubling down on more to come. And Matt Booty kind of threw a wet blanket on it. And then it led me down a rabbit hole to look at what contracts might be. When you're incentivized to have unit sales or growth in sectors when it comes to studios and good performance in studios based upon unit sales, then you de-emphasize the exclusive part, because in your head, you believe that the more the game is available all over, the better it is for you, because your bonus goes up, your metrics look good, you look better. That's when you put yourself before the brand. And when you put yourself before the brand, that means that you're looking at an exit strategy to leave. And you don't care how the brand looks after you've left, because you have already extracted everything that you needed to out of the brand. What is left is the consumer with a brand that is tattered. And then it takes somebody else to come in to fix the brand. Now, I'm not saying that Asha is a savior. For all we know, she's doing what's in the best interest of her. But if her mandate is to make a performance efficient Xbox that is healthy, then my goal for the brand is in line with her goal for the brand. If your goal is as like game operator, manager, studio overseer is to sell as many units as possible. So then your thought process is to place it in as many places as possible. Well, then you're not on par or with this brand, because your only goal is to sell as many units as possible. And that conflicts with this. This is brought to you by Checkpoint Gaming. Who is the author? Gabriel Macpherson. Xbox has doubled down on its touted return to console exclusivity following its latest restructure. Microsoft has rushed to assure gamers that there are still reasons to buy its hardware. You see, you can't say Project Helix is going to be a thing and you place your games everywhere. The most attractive thing to your console has to be the software. It has to be something tied to it that forces people to come to it. It just has to be. You got exclusive content on Disney Plus. I just saw Daredevil season 3 got greenlit. I'm all in. I'm not canceling my Disney Plus subscription. You got to be mad. The fact that X-Men 97 is on Disney Plus. I'm not canceling. What are you, crazy? But let's say X-Men 97 was available on Netflix. Well, why the hell would I need Disney Plus? You can get out of here. I can watch X-Men 97 here. And therein lies the rub. You got to have people that are willing to have short-term loss for long-term gain. There's going to be pains in the beginning, but you must stay steadfast. And you got to have everybody on the same team. And let me explain. Chief among this seems to be the champion of the return to Xbox-only titles, which leadership is insistent that this shift is permanent and not a temporary pivot. When you have majority of gaming media coming out telling you that the moment Xbox feels the sting of a game not selling to what they internally expect it to, they will pivot back to placing those titles onto competing platforms. That mentality is the mentality of somebody that doesn't believe, right? Or somebody that feels that Xbox needs to sell outside of its own ecosystem in order to be relevant. You can only look at the past in order to predict the future. Xbox never needed to do that in the past. They needed better marketing. They needed better strategy. They needed better management over the games that they put out. Xbox is in a position that they're in based upon mismanagement, not marketing properly, not distributing consoles in regions that were vital, and focusing in areas that weren't vital. Those omissions came back. And now we're at a point where all those things that happen must change in order for it to be better. And I'm realizing right now that it is highly essential that this platform has exclusives, regardless to whatever short-term damage it does to anything. Because think here, and I don't believe PlayStation in one bit because of information that I do know, but their pullback from Steam, not PC, from Steam was deliberate. It was deliberate in the sense that they didn't see the return off investment, and the money that they did receive back wasn't sustainable. It just didn't make sense for the damage that it was doing. Xbox must realize that. They have to champion that, and they must continue to move forward with exclusives. And it has to be high profile exclusives. It can't just be one game that's some indie game or some game that you made that doesn't have a fan base. It has to be a game that has a tremendous fan base that you could see it will make a bunch of money, but you decided it ain't going. I say Horizon 6 needs to be the title, because I don't know if that's under any contracts. Because remember, Asha said that she's going to honor the contracts. I don't know what it cost to not honor the contract. Right? I don't know what it costs. But sometimes a stance needs to be made. Chief Content Officer, and you see, think about this. Chief Content Officer. He's in head of content. His bonuses could be tied to content maximization of distribution of sales. So when a studio sells X amount, because did you see the smile on his face when Forza Horizon sold as many as it did? Forza Horizon 6 sold as many as it did. It came in as high as it did. Playground Games did the goddamn thing. Matt was smiling from ear to ear, head to toe. Boom, bang. Because that puts you in contention to have a larger bonus. These guys are incentivized by bonus. They're driven by goals. So Chief Content Officer Matt Booty isn't pulling any punches on the topic. There has to be a reason for people to buy Xbox, he said. Following the Xbox showcase, he framed exclusives as a reward both for long-term fans who supported the brand over the last 25 years and those looking for reasons they should buy Xbox hardware at all. Speaking to the same outlet, Chief Strategy Officer, and he's the strategist, added some clarification around Xbox upcoming first-party releases. Gears of War E-Day and Clockwork Revolution, promising not time exclusive, but permanent ones. He is quick to add that these are only the first, with the company needing a reliable pipeline of exclusive games to return to a position of growth. That is absolutely valid. Now, you say, so far, for 2026, the only exclusive Xbox has is E-Day. Where so far, the only exclusive that Xbox has for 2027 is Clockwork Revolution. I'm going to tell you that one title per year is not gonna cut it. You're going to have to make the hard decisions on a ton of games that is going to force you to be attractive. Because, don't get me wrong, the fan base for Gears isn't as tremendous as you think on PlayStation. You have a working title that is in place that did not exceed or meet your expectations of what Gears would look like on PlayStation. That within itself should tell you a bunch. Now, we do have a sort of barometer when it comes to Avowed, an unknown IP that launches on Xbox and then comes to PlayStation. That IP didn't sell as expected and didn't hit the internal metrics for the port. Therefore, Clockwork Revolution can be looked at as just that as well. An unknown IP that doesn't have a fan base, that isn't expected to do much. So, those two don't mean as much as it looks. Titles with gravitas that hold weight, that move the needle, that forces players to take notice means more than you think. Xbox needs to have the hard decision for that. Just the same way that they're taking disc to digital seriously, just the same way that they're taking the restructuring of Game Pass seriously. One, marketing of Game Pass needs to be above what you're doing. Two, exclusives have to come in a form of 2 to 3 titles per year that are exclusive to the platform permanently with no thought of backtracking. 3, you're going to have to lose a potential boatload of money on titles that you know have an existing fan base on a competing platform in order to be taken seriously. When you do it, they will come. The hardware must come out, have a disk drive, and like you said in the chat, give you the option. I think them giving you the option for the disk drive is going to be the option. I think the disc to digital is being established now, and it's going to further go the distance when Helix comes out, because the operating system and everything about it is going to be like built in from the ground up with that device. So the moment you put in your physical disc, is automatically going to give you, and this is just my opinion, a digital license that is yours, that follows you, that you own. The moment that happens, they changes the language from physical. You no longer have that trepidation. I believe these are things that they need to do to fix. These band-aids aren't going to change the narrative because you got too many people talking against your goals. This is Xbox Frontline News. I know it's a little somber day, but again, I got a little bad news today and I didn't really like it. So what's up? I'm in my feels and I have the right to feel that way. But as far as gamers go, I was looking at this title here, right? And it's coming to Game Pass. And there's a couple of titles that I was really looking at that I actually want to play, right? So that, Planet Crafter came out. I don't not really all into that. Shift to Midnight is supposed to be coming July 22nd. Hell is Us was a title that I was looking at before that I actually want to play. I want to play it. I want to see what it's about. I want to give my opinion on it. I want to check out Hell is Us. I didn't know Hell is Us was coming to Game Pass. I'm super happy. That's one of the titles that I wanted to pick up that I didn't have the time to pick up. And I don't buy titles any longer that's just going to sit and wait for me to play them. I buy titles when I know I'm going to play them. Halo Campaign Evolved, Game Pass, cool. Miss Fall Hunter, another one. Interested in that title. Can't wait to play it. I can't wait. Corsair Grove, don't know. Heretic plus Hexen. Yes. August 4th. Definitely going to take myself back in time and have some fun. But the large title here is Beast of Reincarnation. I think Game Pass is going to start going down the road of this, right? Now, we talk about how day ones is a thing, and that's cool. That's great. I think titles like this, and I'm interested in this title. I'm hugely interested in this title. I think Game Freak's brand new title, you're taking a chance on an unknown IP in your service launching it day one, giving it the most eyes that it's going to have, because a lot of people are holding their pockets until they get a review from somebody that they trust, see a walkthrough. They want to make sure that the coast is clear before they just, pluck down their money. Game Pass affords a lot of people the luxury of trying day one titles in the platform. This is the only service that actually does this, and for however long it does it, take advantage of it. Nothing is promised at all. Everything changes. But while we got the opportunity, try as many day one games that you get a chance to get. Use the service as much as you possibly can if you're locked in. If you're not locked in and they didn't market to you properly, put that in community notes. Put that in the player voice for Xbox, that you don't think that Game Pass is being marketed enough. You don't think that it's attractive enough, and certain things need to change in order for you to be attracted to it. Make your voice heard. They give you a channel for you to talk. Talk. Don't hold it inside and complain to us. Because at the end of the day, I partake in every ecosystem. And each one, I have the subscription service. I have PlayStation Plus, I have the Nintendo Online, whatever the hell, and I have Game Pass Ultimate. Because at any given time, I'm going to jump on those platforms and try to utilize those subscription services as best as possible. I try to take the dollar and stretch it as far as I can possibly can, because that's vital to me. But what is also vital to me is trying to figure out how Microsoft cracks that code from disc to digital. And I think we'll get that information very soon. But this is Xbox Frontline News with your boy, the King. I want to thank each and every last one of you guys for showing up today. It's a rainy day. It's a dreary day. It's a day that the kid is going to have Taco Tuesday, because they're upstairs and they're waiting. And I know the wife already ate because she ain't going to wait. But I want to thank you guys for showing up. But I want you to do what I'm about to do. I want you to go where game is game and win is win. And I want you to try to play the Game Pass. But before you play it, Bella knows when I'm finished. It's like her second name. She's just right here. But before you go do that, I told you, I'm the unmitigated best at this. And if you got anyone better than me, then put them up. Shout out to my man, Bone Slave. Blessings.
What's a man or a king? Advance to the saying, advance to the line, advance in the payment. You front the game and shoot what said as you claim it. It's that Xbox, spin the block, his legs slide. Fast talking, no riddling, moonwalking, selling moon rock just to make dividends. You in traffic with family? That much making a portrait. Gun kick back, now grannies from porches. David on the scene, you know that it's scorching. What's a man or a king? Advance to the saying, advance to the line, advance in the payment. You front the game and shoot what said as you claim it.
You already know the time, told my boys to hold the line. We gon' shoot it out in seconds, leave you posted like a vine. Bow your head down to the king, leave your roses at the shrine. We stay ready for the war, just need the king to drop the sign. Say what you running from, what you running from. I'm with my team, we bleed green, that's what you wanted, huh? Say what you running from, what you running from. I'm with my team, we bleed green, that's what you wanted, huh? This what you wanted. This what you wanted, huh?